What is up, everyone? JD here. Hope you're all doing well today. Today, I'm excited to bring you my favorite carries from the week. Let's go ahead and jump into the week's carry. Monday, I did a Micarta Monday theme. Wanted to carry the Civivi Conspirator one more time. Really do love the size, the ergos, and the finish on this particular knife. The button lock is done very well. Again, due to the weight of the blade and the fact that it requires a little bit more force, but the button lock's still the same size. It does feel a little bit more lethargic than it does on, say, like the Cogent or the Chevalier. This, though, is still performing very well. It locks up nicely, and it does get out from the locked position really nice. Micarta's continuing to break in as I carry it, letting this one kind of naturally oil up, whereas some of the other knives that I have in my inventory, I kind of did a little bit of a forced patina, but I kind of like the spotted oil on the Micarta. I think it gives it a very cool and weathered look. Again, the Nitro V on this blade, they did a nice job doing the acid stone wash on it. Really like the way that looks. Has a really good edge. The fullers work well. I think I've mentioned in the past, I wish they kind of would go down a little bit further because it would be nice to kind of come down low and grab it, but you can still reverse flick it without the fuller. The fuller, you just have to climb up on in there and get the nail into the nick for it to go out. Jimping on the flipper tab, really nice. I don't recall or don't believe I've ever missed deploying it on that flipper tab. So that's what was in my pocket on Monday. I really do like this one a lot. It's a very good example. I didn't get the wood this time. I know that I go back and forth between the Micarta and the wood, but I think in this instance, with the size, the Micarta feels a bit more premium. And again, the ergos on this are just fantastic. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at what was in the pocket on Tuesday. I wanted to carry something I had picked up here more recently. I had the original version, which had the smooth scales, and then they released a updated version of that model, and that is going to be the QSP Penguin in titanium. You can see here I picked up the frag pattern, and it has a very nice black wash on that 154 cm blade. Really great edge. This still has really nice ergos. I do find that I want to climb up right here for the first finger so that I can get a nice comfortable forefinger grip, and it gives me a little bit of room to move around. If I get behind that little guard, I am hanging off the back a little bit because of the larger hands, but this is actually pretty comfortable to use, and it is much thinner than the base model Penguin. This one here has a thinner blade stock, has no liners, so it's the scales sitting on the ceramic bearings, so it makes it an overall just a thinner knife. This one's thumb stud only. Really nice deployment though, and you can get that reverse flick. Haven't had any issues yet. I was worried about the frag and the pocket clip going in and out of the pocket, but it's such a springy clip that it actually goes in and out really nicely. I mean, it's not like weak by any state of the imagination, but it moves out of the way, and it does have enough of a nose on the pocket clip that it just catches and goes right on in. So I liked it and I enjoyed carrying it, and that was what was in the pocket on Tuesday. As you can see, this is definitely a smaller carry, but still a really nice one. Wednesday, I went for the Wood Wednesday carry, and I broke out the Chevalier. Thought I'd go ahead and rock the button lock one more time this week since I am enjoying Civivi's budget button lock. It is really nice. It's a really solid offering for what you're paying. Now, I have said in the past, the ProTech Malibu is definitely still the one to beat, but Civivi does a really good job with their button locks. I have found that when I get them that they are consistent. I actually was curious about the Micarta. It wasn't in my pocket this week, but I did pick up the Micarta, and there will be a video coming out about that and comparing the two and talking about the differences. But it's still pretty consistent, even though with the coated blade, you can kind of tell that the coating is slowing it down a little bit, so it doesn't feel quite as smooth and snappy. But I think that'll break in, and I'll report back on that on the long term. But On my Chevalier, I have the wood scales with the stone washed finish on the blade. 14C28N performs really, really nice. I did lay this back to an 18-degree angle with my work sharpener. Still getting used to doing that. There's, it's not the prettiest edge. I didn't get it to a mirror polish, but when I actually take it to cardboard and then test it on paper, really does grab and bite into anything that I'm trying to cut with it. So the edge is there, just got to work on the finish a little bit. But I am really enjoying this knife a lot. It actually replaced my Kogent, which I did sell to someone that wanted it. Try to give it to channel members first. I'm going to be putting some stuff up for sale, stuff that I'm not really carrying as much, and trying to free up some funds for some other content, other purchases for content on the channel. I did swap out for the Banter pocket clip on this one. As you saw here on this one, it doesn't stick up as much. It lays more closely and flat to the scale while still giving plenty of clearance to get in and out of the pocket. I actually prefer this clip, and I wish Civi would just go ahead and switch all of their clips to this style. I personally prefer it a little bit wider, not as noticeable in hand, and it goes in and out of the pocket great, and it's a great fit. So there's a video coming out this week. It'll be up this week, or it might be scheduled for this weekend, but if not, it's coming up this week, where I talk about that a little bit more in depth. So this is a great option, and I do prefer the wood. I think I prefer the wood a little bit over the micarta, but I'm not going to spoil that video. You'll have to tune in to check out if I did come to that conclusion and why. So that was what was in the pocket on Wednesday. Thursday, I'm really excited to talk about this knife. I missed out on the first drop. I picked up the second drop, and I got the colorway that I wanted, and that is going to be the WE Roxy 3. As you can see here, I did pick up the bronze anodized hardware and pocket clip, which has a really nice black wash. It actually looks better in person, guys. Has the black wash going all throughout the handle as well. Really like the styling on this one. It does have the S35 VN blade steel. I think this went into production before they switched over to 20CV, and I wasn't sure when they brought it back in stock if it was going to be updated to 20CV or not. But I really do like this one. It is again a small pocket tank, a little bit chunkier. Kind of reminds me of like the Convict and the Urban EDC Supply F5.5 as far as the size. But I think it does have a little bit more length than the Urban EDC Supply, but it's probably actually either equal to or a little bit shorter, I think, than the Convict. But I am going to be doing like a mini pocket tank versus in the future, so I don't want to dive into that too much. But really like this. It has a great edge. It reminds me of how Spyderco goes right up to the plunge grind, and it has nice sharpening, not anything that's going to catch when you're trying to use it. Awesome ergos. I wasn't sure about that, but again, with my larger hands, I fit perfect where they have it all cut out. I prefer this hold here. It has good jimping for the fingers to ride on, and then it has smaller jimping, but still pretty pronounced for that front flipper flick. So, and you can even get the reach around on there. I do have to pull a little bit. It does take a little bit more effort to get that, but I can get it pretty good. I can even get the roll over as well. Now, I will admit it is a little bit of a hot spot. It's a little pokey trying to disengage the way that they did this particular release, or the way that this release was designed for the lock bar, but it's not awful. I actually think I prefer coming in from this angle here because I don't feel like it's as bad. And the other thing too is when you let it fall shut, you're actually not getting any of the blade at all. Now, it has fallen fast on me a couple times, and it has kind of hit my thumb, and I kind of felt it a little bit. I was surprised it didn't leave a bruise, but the fuller works really nice for the reverse flick. The thumb hole works great for the thumb flick. The front flipper really works well. They did a nice job dialing this. I went back and forth. I was like, it feels like it's kind of a little weak for the reverse flick, and I thought about taking it apart and kind of retuning it. But honestly, if you get into it and you just give it a nice quick little flick, it goes out nicely, and it feels great for the thumb flick and for the front flipper. So I'm not going to mess with it. I'm going to leave it as is, but I really do like the way that they're doing all of the black wash and the tumbling on their knives, period. I think it looks great. It does give it a little bit more of a matte feel, so when you're on these steels, it does help and feel more confident to grip onto. So I like that. Love this utility blade shape. So that is the WE Roxy 3. That is what was in my pocket on Thursday. That is a great knife. Really surprised me a lot. It is Friday, so I am dual wielding. So fifth pocket carry is going to be my Kizer Original. Yes, this guy is still hanging around. I am still trying to like this knife, believe it or not. I don't hate it, but I just find that I prefer the Altus. This just feels a little bit more lethargic. It's not quite as snappy or as smooth. If I loosen this up anymore, the pivot's going to start backing out, even though I put the medium Loctite in there. So I really find that I have to kind of flip it, and I have to get it to close all the way when I'm using this particular knife. I like the finish on the aluminum. I love the 154 cm and the stonewash that they did on this blade. I think all of that is really good. I hate the pocket clip. It's just riding too low. I have to two-hand to put this in my pocket every time. And in all honesty, I think today was actually my last attempt to trying to love this knife. So this guy, just a little sneak peek, he will end up in my NAF sale that I'm going to have coming up here this weekend. I'm actually going to put everything together Saturday and try to throw that up there on Saturday to catch it on the weekend, so you guys can all see in the community what's going to be coming up. I'll let that sit out there for 2 or 3 days so that you get first dibs, and I will put it up on Instagram at the same time so that it's all community that is supporting me that gets first dib at some of the knives. And there's going to be some nice ones, including like this is a really popular knife that's not in stock right now, that are going to be on that NAF sale. So keep an eye out for that if you're interested. That is what is in the fifth pocket. The main pocket today is going to be my Demko AD 20.5 in the Austin A steel. I do have the carbonized made fat carbon dark matter scales. These are the purple haze colorway. You can see the little bit of purple sprinkle in there. I did pick up the Lynch Northwest titanium deep carry pocket clip. It does have the bronze to bronze and purple to the purple blurple blue fade. I really like that way that still looks on there. I did get the matching backspacer that has the jimping for the fat carbon on there, and it does have the rocket glides from Skiff in the pivot, and those are really awesome. I've taken it across a few more boxes, and I still have had no issues with the edge. So I'm hoping that Jared just got really unlucky since he got the first run of these, and maybe the heat treat was hit or miss on some of those. But this one and the blue one have really held up well. I think the blue one, you probably can even see the wear marks starting to show up on it. And that is still the factory edge, and it is still going strong. I like Austin A better than D2. So I really do think, you know, for 150 bucks, I know people are like Austin A, but it's Austin A plus this lock mechanism and the fact that it's not a Chinese knife. I think those three things justify the price, especially now that they've got the heat treat going right on the Austin A, which is a good tough steel, and I like the way that it performs. If they put crew wear on this bad boy and they charge $200, would I buy it? You better believe it, because I spent $200 on the mini Adamas, which is roughly about the same size, just a little bit more chunky. So that has the crew wear on it, and it's about $200 as well. So I absolutely would 100% pay a little bit more for like a crew wear version of this. I think crew wear on here would be fantastic. I think that would be an awesome steel to throw on here. Anyway, that is what is in the pocket today. I have talked about that knife a lot. Check out my channel for the review on that, and or the blue one if you like the blue one a little bit better. But that is what was in my pocket this week. What do you have in your pocket today? What are you carrying the most here recently? Or what is your favorite knife to carry here as of late? I would love to hear. Throw that down in the comments. If you enjoyed today's video, do me a favor, leave a like, and don't forget to hit that notification bell to all. If you're already subscribed, make sure that notification bell is set to all, because if you don't, YouTube may not alert you when one of my videos drop, and who knows what you might miss on. Giveaways, NAF sales, all kinds of stuff. I appreciate the support. You're awesome. Thank you so much. I hope all of you have a fantastic week. Don't forget to follow me over on Instagram as well. Until next time, peace.